talk to search and rescue when we're on the ground. Right. Just really simple. Nath, that I job share with, he has this on in the office, just listening to here. Because he's saying that I know everyone's got no money, however, we need to employ X number of more doctors and paramedics at Welshpool and put car service in Welshpool into the night.
Just around getting planning permission for it, of course.
Yeah. They found a field just at the bottom of React Hill.
The old police one?
No, that was never on the cards. We used the data for that, for the weather survey, and that's why that became like a centre of mass. It all started off being yellow, and then over time, you know, East Mids have gone red. Obviously, we're red and green. You know, where is it? Great Western. They're
white and green?
Yeah, it's white, blue, green. It's a little bit of everything. So in Germany, ADAC, so the German version of the AA, ADAC run all the air ambulances across Germany. They run them as a business. You pay for the service, or at least your insurance does. So subtly different to us. But they got a load of ADAC pilots together, or ADAC, as they say over there, because it's and they said, right, what do you want from a helicopter? And the first thing they said was, from our feet in the front, the pedals, all the way to the patient's feet in the back, we want clear access all the way through. So basically, if you imagine a sandwich, the bottom layer is the fuel, the top is the avionics, the gearboxes, the engines, all that sort of jazz. The filling is us and our patient. That's what we want, and that's exactly what Airbus built. So everything you see inside. See, when you buy a 145 from Airbus for 6 million, what you get is 2 front seats, and that's it. There's none of this flooring, none of this roofing, none of the interior that you see. You just get 2 front seats, and then it's soundproofing on the inside. That's it. We then spend another $1 million getting the interior done, because the company that makes the interior are Swiss. So you bought a German helicopter. That's like buying a German car. If you want a car to work, you buy a German car. If you want to watch them work, you buy Swiss. The interior is Swiss. He says wearing his Swiss watch. So we basically gave all the sizes of our bags and bits and pieces, all the equipment we want to carry on board. We gave that to Buka, and Buka, there's Aerolite and there's Buka. 2 brothers working together owned Aerolite, the only company making interiors for helicopters generally. They had a falling out. It's a bit like Left Twix and Right Twix, and Buka, the surname, he set up on his own. We went with Buka on this. The Aerolite fit for the 145 we don't think is quite as good. Certainly the stretcher isn't as good. The difference with the Aerolite, and you may have seen it on the old 135 that we had here, the whole floor is a tray, like a tea tray, which means that you can have a patient bleeding onto it, peeing onto it, the cow shit falling onto it. It doesn't matter. It just falls onto this tray, and it's all kept. And we had 2 little holes in the tray where everything just sort of fell out, and we never asked where it went, because you're basically dripping, whatever's dripping out of the patient, you're dripping over whoever you're flying over. I've got a photo somewhere flying, you know, EasyJet or Jet2 or whatever else, exactly the same license. Mine just has an H on the end of it for helicopter, and I get paid less. But the avionics, actually, the 3 screens that you see in the front, if you look at an A320 or an A318, exactly the same screens. They just get 4, we get 3, because actually there's not enough space to fit 4. And because we're missing one, we fly right hand seat because we're single pilot. Cardiff, the commander sits on the left. He gets a set of sticks then. At the moment, no sticks, no vote. I'm the only one with the sticks. In Cardiff, both seats have got the sticks. Commander sits left, or captain sits left. Pilot sits right. So what about the aircraft itself? So like I said, all the fuel is under the floor. 720 kilos of fuel we can carry. So nigh on a ton when you talk kilos. 1 kilo of fuel is 0.83 of a litre. So you need over a litre to make 1 kilo of fuel, if that makes sense. And we burn 4 kilos a minute. So 5 litres, so a gallon, give or take, a gallon a minute, at 99p a gallon. Full glass screen cockpit, real step up from the 135. I went from Lynx to 135 when I left the army, and £200,000 worth of computer. Each one controls its engine, so you've got an engine on both sides, each one has its own fader, but each fader is powerful enough to control both. So they're constantly talking and cross-talking. There's this really clever slide that I remember from ground school that's just got all these lines going across, and it's just like, fucking hell me pie, I'm never going to remember what that is. Just, all I know is if it comes out with a certain message on the warnings, on the master list, the computers aren't happy. So if one computer has a bit of a wobble or somebody sprays water, don't ask me how I know that that's the case. It was a very expensive lesson. But did a complete redesign. Vibration halved, and virtually all the noise, or certainly the high frequency noise that seemed to offend people, just went away. And the German design team were like, "How did you know?" And they said, "I got a Type 1 Land Rover." And they look at him like, "And?" And he opened the bonnet, showed them the fan. It's really nice with that behind the sun, or the sun behind that rather. So yeah, the blades are still turning, but we're not actually producing any thrust through the tail rotor at all. It's all just aerodynamic. Behind the oil cooler, which is this bit here. So everyone thinks this is the air intake. It kind of is, but the way they've designed it is the air goes in here, goes around the gearbox, gets warmed because it's going past the nice hot gearbox, and then it goes into the engines here. And that's the only filter. That little mesh there. The amount of dog shit bags we get stuck on that, you would not believe. Dog poo, it turns out, isn't quite heavy enough to not get picked up by the rotor wash. And it's normally the engineer that finds them. You can imagine it's honking after it's been cooking for a couple of hours. Dauphin. Dauphins are 5 tons with 3,700 kilos, something like that. So we've got a load of extra power over the Dauphin, and actually it's been modernised with the computer software since. So the actual engine, make sure I don't step off the end of the skid because that would be embarrassing, especially on film. So the actual engine starts there and ends there. That's it. That bit there, that's the gas turbine engine. So the air goes in through the middle, goes around the sides, comes back on itself, goes back again. That's where the fuel gets injected. Stretcher just rolls out to there, and for some reason they decided to make it pivot, because why would you want to make the gap smaller? But anyway, they did. And then the question is, with all those bags on there, where'd you put the bags when you got the patient? The answer is you get very good at packing. Carry 4 units of OPOS, 4 units of ONEG. The idea being pregnant women and the elderly can only have ONEG, and children under, I think it's 8, or 11, something like that. But OPOS everyone can have, otherwise everyone else can have. So we tend to use the OPOS if we can first, so we're keeping the ONEG in reserve.